Look, you got to fire Mike Norvell. All right. Any good fan knows that if you have a coach and they've led you to victory, and then they lose a game that they don't supposed to lose, the obvious, most logical next move is to fire them. Duh! You like this weird background around my head? It's almost like I'm living in a different Twilight Zone. You see my hands are disappearing. Oh, look, my arms are actually two head coaches. I'm going to dive into this and more and probably get rid of this weird background here. But some Florida State fans are ready to fire Mike Norvell. I know. And it's not even week one. Welcome to the channel. I'm Brian. I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll subscribe. You're like, hey, man, why are you trying to get me subscribed? Because, that would be cool and stuff. And it's the easiest way to support the channel. And it is free. I do appreciate you being here. Folks, I'm going to get rid of this weird background live. I'm going to get rid of this because this is absolutely bizarre. I need a green screen behind me. I still can't do it, folks. This is bad. I feel like something should happen. Boom! See, look at that. By the magic of the intertubes, I just got rid of that. I do hope that you'll support the channel and so on through subscribing. I hope you'll drop a line in here as well. So it's the day after. Week 0. Week 0 had one game that meant anything, and it was Georgia Tech and Florida State in Dublin, Ireland. And for me, it's really weird to talk about it in past tense because, well, it was the only thing we had to look forward to for months until the Clemson and Georgia game, especially as Clemson fans. The Georgia game, nobody can hear me right now. Can everybody hear me? Something just happened. I think you can hear me. You can hear me. Sorry about that. Something weird was going on. Y'all, I'm falling apart. In fact, I'm thinking about turning this off and starting over again. This is bad. You know what? I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. I just switched this microphone. Anyway. So let's dive right in. If you're new here, normally I'm not falling apart that bad. Kind of, but not that much. Florida State, Georgia Tech, they're over. Georgia Tech wins the game. Yesterday morning, I predicted that Georgia Tech would win the ball game. I have the receipts. You can go back and look at my video from yesterday morning, which is Saturday, August 24th. Go check it out. So, Florida State, they're the front runner to win the ACC. We know about the season they had. We know how it ended. We know it's because players were sitting out and so on. And I have some good relationships as well with guys who are really good Florida State YouTubers. Plant the Spear, I had those guys on. They're fantastic. I had TJ from Hold Slaw, Extra Fries. I had him on here, and I'm trying to get him back on the show. Might try to get the guys from Plant the Spear. Might try to get some guys from Georgia Tech on. But with that said, I just said that I believe that Georgia Tech was in a prime spot to upset Florida State. They ended up doing it. They held Florida State to under 100 yards rushing. Their defensive line got blown off the ball like a OK FCS school playing a D1 school. And the defense we can sit here and talk about DJ, and everybody wants to dog on DJ. And look, DJ did not do this, that, and the other, and blow, just blow up and come out there and throw for 300, 400 yards. But folks, the same scheme that was ran for him at Clemson was basically ran for him yesterday. Kind of. And I warned everybody about this. People who are smart, people who I respect. And it's like, oh, Norvell's going to scheme for this. And I'm like, you guys, please. We did this with Joe Milton last year at Tennessee. I told you, please, and nobody would listen to me. Well, folks, history matters. And you can learn a lot from history. And if you don't learn from history,
You're going to repeat those same mistakes. It's just going to cost you unneeded time that you can't get back and a bunch of heartache. But what did they do? They went out there and Georgia Tech beat them. Now, Florida State fans are ready to fire the only man since Jimbo Fisher to give them anything to celebrate. I went to Death Valley and saw a Willie Taggart-led Florida State team, and I'm just going to tell you, it was trash. It was one of the worst football teams I've ever seen in my entire life. I also saw the Louisville team that fell apart when they got hammered by Clemson. And it was just bad. It was not the Florida State that I grew up having to watch them beat my Tigers in the 90s and part of the 2000s. It wasn't. And Norvell, love him or hate him, came along and made Florida State relevant again. Now let's pause here. Not everybody in the Florida State community wants this guy fired. But they were really upset about yesterday. And I don't blame them. Remember, I pull for the team who opened up on Labor Day night in Durham and lost by 3 touchdowns. And every Clemson fan, almost every Clemson fan, except for this one, I was basically the Antichrist of the orange and white group, for pointing out, it's weird how Duke was in game shape, but the team that's not too far removed from 2 national championships wasn't. I think we should look internally at the guys who were developing them and scheming and everything. I think we should, you're not a real fan. And I heard that. Y'all were wrong and I was right. I can sleep well because of that. But even after that, I didn't go fire Dabo Swinney. Now, another pause moment. Mike Norvell does not have 2 national championships and the whole playoff thing and the consecutive 10-win seasons. He doesn't. But Mike Norvell is not a bad football coach. In fact, we would love for y'all to get rid of him. Go and get somebody that's just lackluster, and it'll be one less team that we have to worry about having to play against. Florida State, right now on the Clemson schedule, outside of the Georgia game, Clemson has Florida State circled first and foremost after the Georgia game. NC State is a winnable game. Stanford, Virginia Tech. I called Virginia Tech in my preseason preview to be an upset for Clemson. We have to watch that game. But Pittsburgh, we can beat Virginia Tech definitely if we just come there and focus. Pittsburgh, I can keep rattling them off. But Florida State, you are it, and you know you're it. And even after what happened yesterday, Clemson can't think that they've got this in the bag. That would be dumb. We got enough of our crap to deal with, but firing Dabo Swinney would be the dumbest thing that we could ever say after last year. Pull him in the office and look at him and tell him to stop hiring former players on the offensive side of the football. That's okay. That's okay for the fans to be upset at him. It's okay for Tyler from Spartanburg, no matter what y'all think. I was okay. He needs to have that. Listen, he makes $11.5 million. I think he'll be okay. He's just fine. Sometimes you have to eat, no matter how much success you've had, you need your feet feeling the flames of the fire if you're not performing like you used to. But fire Dabo Swinney, the dumbest thing that I heard. Fire Swinney. Fire Swinney. What you want us to do, bring back Ford? No offense, Danny Ford, if you're out there having a beer at that Mexican restaurant in Pendleton. I saw you that one time. That was really cool. Fire Mike Norvell. Come on, y'all. Come on. You went out, you got a bunch of Alabama guys. You got a guy from got that really good defensive player from Georgia, Marvin Jones Jr. You went and you got DJ. And I'm not going to be ruthless, but I think DJ needs to change positions. He'll go play in the NFL, make a lot of money playing like tight end or something like that. I just don't think that he's at the place to be the quarterback. And the difference between him and Cade is going into his 3rd year overall. and he's going into his second season as a full-time starter. This is DJ's 5th year in college football and his 4th year as an overall starter. So, saying, well, hold on, you're taking up for K, but you're not taking up for DJ. I think I just laid out why. And it's logical. So there's that. But I told Florida State fans that DJ is not going to lead you to the promised land, and Mike Norvell cannot scheme away the issues there. But I was told that I was wrong. And once again, these are by people who are smart, and I'm going to have them back on my show, and people I would engage with. You just wait and see. And this is people in the comments, by the way, right here. You just wait and see. You just wait and see. Boy, you don't know. You lost to Georgia Tech, didn't you? You did. In fact, the last 2 games you played were against teams from the state of Georgia, and you can't beat them. That's not trash talk. That's reality. Losing to Georgia was one thing. Losing to Tech? And you went out and you got all these really good players? Okay, I understand why you're upset. Fire Mike Norvell? That's ridiculous. Who are you going to go get? Serious. Who are you going to go get? And don't tell me that your next coach is in Colorado. That would be that's not a good move. It would be great if he was still in playing shape and he was playing for you and he had eligibility and all that good stuff. It would be cool if you want him to be hype up your team and give a motivational speech. It's good if you want him to promote products with his sons. But as far as coaching your football team to prominence, just being honest, he's not your guy. But if that's the case, bring him back, because we won't have to worry about you guys. We won't. Get to the comment section. Cody, may there, Brian. I laugh when Georgia Tech lost. That's Bleacher Orange. Orange Blooded 91. Don't fire Norvell. Sincerely, Clemson fans. Drake, fire Mike. Let me see. Joshua. Now FSU knows how we feel with the sunshine pumping about Clemson every year for the past 3.5 in a game. 1 or 2, us Clemson fans realize we had been lied to about national title hopes. Yep. Jonathan Benton, you're good. Okay, that's where you couldn't hear me. West Texas is so southern, we have piranhas in our Lake Meredith. That's funny. Tiger Raven, where are the FSU fans? This is great. Noah Denton, keep the faith. Brian, Tigers get the W on Saturday. Noah, you asked me a question about why I deleted my video for last night. I might put up a condensed version of it. So anyway, but I meant to reply to you. Keep going down through here. Kendall, Mike is fine if he doesn't change and stay stubborn and play calling. Put on a hot seat, but he's turned us around. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Shane Bentley. Shane is a supporter of the channel. Look at that. I'll be honest. I haven't been a believer in Norvell for the years. For the first years it was there. I think last year was more of an anomaly. I can be wrong. I also think the same way about Brian Kelly's hire at LSU. Brian Kelly did a really solid job at Notre Dame. I mean, really, he did, considering the guys before him. Maybe they didn't win the national title. They did get to the national title. They got their tails handed to them, but they got there. They got to the playoff, 1 year? Got their head ripped off. But that doesn't make sense, him being at LSU. I agree with you 100%. Maybe you're right. Maybe Norvell is an anomaly, but I just think that it's too soon for them to think that. We could be wrong. Thank you for supporting $10. Wow, Shane. That's really, really kind of you. And everybody, you see that symbol beside Shane Bentley's name? That means he is a supporter on a monthly basis. So If you want to support on a monthly basis, there's a join button below the video. If you don't see it, it's probably because you're on an iPhone. You won't see it, but you can go to desktop if you want to. You don't have to. $3 or $5. Shane, thanks so much for supporting the channel. I'm going to keep going through here, and I'm going to get back to, let me see. Get that waltz crap off your site, brother. Waltz crap? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me see. Young Pablo. Jumper Cable says fire him just for the drama. DJ never developed as a true player, 2-time quitter, transfer. Kevin Washington says, hopefully Georgia can take us for granted and we can pull off the upset like Tech. I really don't know, and I probably can. I don't know how to control those ads. So transparently, I don't support him whatsoever. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry you had to see that on my side. Sorry. Fans clearly ignored DJ basically being beat out as both of the schools he was at, but I still don't think he was the number one reason they lost. I agree with this. I agree with this 100. I agree with this 100%. DJ was not the reason that they lost. He's the easy scapegoat because of his past. He's the easy scapegoat. But folks, I'm telling you, I think it was correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was the very first play of Georgia Tech's offensive season. Very first play on offense for them this season. They blew Florida State's defensive line off the ball so flippin' bad. It was hilarious. Like, hilarious. DJ had nothing to do with that. He didn't. And if we go to DJ, if Florida State was calling those quick passes out, I told you that it wasn't going to work. Clemson did the same thing. I'm going to take up for Brandon Streeter here. Brandon Streeter called those same plays for DJ. And it didn't work. Tony Elliott, in his last year at Clemson, called the same crap. It didn't work. It didn't work with Elliott. It didn't work with Streeter. I watched him play a solid amount at Oregon State. Didn't work there. It's not working. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results? Come on. Well, we're stuck. Yeah, the defense knows that too. Big Papa Bear 76. Did you see the FSU Barstool account blame jet lag on DJ's performance? I guess Georgia Tech must have taken a boat. Papa Bear, look at that, $10 dropping the money in here, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Big Papa Bear 76. I appreciate the support. That really does mean a lot to me. Yeah, I mean, Big Papa Bear 76, that's the same argument that I addressed last year when Clemson's Barrett Carter, who I have a lot of respect for. I mean, the guy's an unbelievable player. But you remember after the Duke game last year, he said, I was in shape, but I wasn't in game shape. And I pointed that out. And there were people who were rightfully so who said, there is a difference between game shape and in shape. I had a friend of mine who used to play college football. I grew up with him in Seneca. He and I are really good friends. And he told me, he said, yeah, that is the difference. But here's the thing. Why was Duke? How was it that Duke was in game shape? A team that historically is not a good football team. How were they in game shape? But the Clemson Tigers wasn't. And that goes to what you just said there. Georgia Tech must have taken a boat. Again, that loss, everybody, was not on DJ. Was not completely, let me rephrase it, not completely on DJ. I saw the defense play. Georgia Tech rushed for almost 200 yards on them. Let me see. Going through here some more. Young Pablo. Yeah, reality is all these people acting like the transfer portal is a saving grace can eat this one FSU lost. Great, eat this one FSU lost great talent from last season and didn't replace them with a similar caliber. That simple. And see, here, folks, here's the thing about the transfer portal. The transfer portal is used as a supplementary. Let me rephrase that. Supposed to be used as a supplementary uh, personnel tool to bring players on. And Florida, it worked for Florida State last year. It's worked for other teams. Now, it's not always going to work out. And it's easy to pick on Florida State for this, especially if you're a Clemson fan, and say, hey, look, the transfer portal and blah, blah. Okay, all right. It's easy to do that as Clemson fans, especially with our head coach's position towards the transfer portal and the NIL. And we can have a little fun there, but, it's easy to look at our head coach and ask him, now, who exactly made the coaching hires on the defensive side of the ball? Because there's no way that same person was in charge for the offensive side. Because on the defensive side, you have, for the most part, a lot of guys who were tenured, great experience, multiple stops. They're experts in their field. Even Wes Goodwin, being a first-time defensive coordinator, was praised by some of the most brilliant minds in college and pro football. On the offensive side, you hired a bunch of former offensive players, and most of them are not good. And what has been our problem? Offense. So while we can laugh at Florida State fans can rightfully look back at us and go, what? Oh, hold on. How is it that y'all can still get really good defensive players, but the vast majority of your offense is not nearly the highest caliber that you used to have? I know you got West Cohen. I know you got TJ Moore and stuff, but you got to think that a lot of these people on the teams like Brennan Stoll and Moffitt, they're from 2021. I mean, they could say that same thing, folks. They could pick this apart. This does prove that just because you go to the transfer portal and you utilize it, pay them a lot of money, and get them from Bama and you get them from Georgia, does not mean that it's going to work out well. Jay, right here. You roll the dice in the transfer portal every year. Thing is, a lot of teams are getting better at restraining their elite players. If they're elite, you're probably going to keep them. If you can keep the money coming into them, you will keep them. When guys like Isaiah Bond leaves Alabama and says, hey, it's a business decision. When Adonai Mitchell leaves Georgia after winning a national title, two national titles, and says, I'm going to Texas. Basically, I don't know if he did make this statement, but I'm confident. It's just a business decision. You can't stop that unless you're going to pay them more money. But a lot of these schools are retaining their talent. If they're like main talent. If they're a guy who's not getting as much playing time as he would like, and he thinks he can go to Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, or whatever, and they will fatten the pot, so to speak. Okay, I see that. But a lot of the main talent stays. Not always. I did not say always. Some of you are going to say, well, this player and that player, out of how many thousands of players that entered the transfer portal? And you look at their role in comparison to the statement I just made. Come on, y'all. There's a lot of great comments in here. Well, folks, there's 108 of you in here. All right. There's 108 of you in here on a Sunday afternoon. By the way, Merry Christmas 4 months in advance. You're like, what do you mean? Today's the 25th. So a little running joke that I have with people I know, my friends, family, etc., people who can't stand me. Merry Christmas. So many months from the 25th. So right now, we are now 4 months from Christmas. It can't sneak up on you. I do hope you'll subscribe. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hope you'll subscribe. Hope you'll hit the thumbs up and hit that little bell. It lets you know when I go live. I do appreciate it. Drop a comment in here and let me know that you saw that you saw the show. And yeah, hopefully we'll run into each other in a good, peaceful, non-weird way out in public. Saw someone yesterday, Brian Stone, if you're watching, it's good to see you, my friend. It was nice to meet you yesterday. Yeah, I run into people from time to time who watch this show, and it's always a treat to meet you. So y'all take care of yourself. It's man, we got Clemson and Georgia coming up. We got week 1 college football starting Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is going to be nuts, folks. It's finally here. You take care of yourself. I'll catch you later. Heck, you don't know. I might go live again today. I'm that excited. Y'all be good. Go Tigers.